Hello and welcome to the Sacred Gates. My name is Elora and welcome to another episode here on the YouTube podcast. Today we're going to be just having a chat about a recent experience I had that highlighted universal law in an interesting way, and also the importance of clearing energy, negative energy from your own possessions, from the things that you use and value in your life when they've had some negative energy around them, and how it's important. And so how this story comes to be is through a car accident I recently had. And I had an accident in the morning on the way to driving my son to school. And it just so happened that I was completely stock still in my car, ready to merge onto a freeway and waiting for some motorbikes to come past. And this man behind me, Ming Yao, who I ended up meeting, crashed into the back of me because he thought I was going to go. I think he may have been on his smartphone or something like that. He was impatient and he just rammed into the back. And when he got out, straight away, he was whying me, which is when you put your hands together in a prayer position, which is a way of saying hello in Thailand, where I live. And he straight away was apologizing. So I thought, oh, that's great. We're already off to a good start. So in the end, everything got sorted out. But what was really interesting for me, when I look back on where the accident happened, I noticed it happened on the back right end of the car. And it wasn't a really bad accident. It was all just crumpled in the way cars do nowadays. And his car was fine. He was in a big van. But what I realized was that where the car had been hit by Ming Yao was exactly the same place 2 weeks earlier, or maybe even now 3 weeks earlier. I had actually damaged my car slightly. I was in a hurry. I accidentally bumped into a very small kind of outside the front of someone's little wooden picket fence, and the fence was fine, but I did just scratch the back of my car and it slightly put my bumper out. So I had kneed back the bumper or the side of this panel, very slight portion of this panel. I just kind of kicked it with my knee, and it was fine. It went back into place. I thought that's fine. There was just like a little scratch at the bottom, a scuff at the bottom of the car. And after that was 3 weeks ago, and I hadn't cleared the energy. I thought, oh, that's a shame. I've damaged my new car. We bought a second-hand car that was all pretty much new, and it's compared to my old car, this is really quite nice looking. So you notice these things. With my old car, I didn't really mind if things went wrong like that because there were so many problems with it. But with this new car, I thought, oh, damn, I've messed it up. But I kind of was in a stress. I was rushing back to get into a queue as I'd taken a queue number, and I was hoping to get back in before the number had been called, and printing documents and whatnot. So I was in a hurry, damaged the car, and I didn't take time to heal the damage energetically, astrally, to clear any negative energy from having damaged the car. And I'm a big believer in valuing the machines that we have in our life. So all of our cars have names, and we've only got one car, but whenever we have a car, it has a name, and our motorbike has a name, and big things like that have names. So we always feel like they bring us so much value. Like a car is so valuable. It literally takes you from place to place. It can take you to the hospital. It takes your kids to school. It protects you from the rain, from the sun. It's an amazing, amazing gift. So we always want to value our cars however we do, whether you give them names or not. It is insignificant, but especially if a car has had a bit of an accident, whether you've caused it or not, I highly recommend clearing the energy. And I didn't do this. So what I ended up realizing was exactly Ming Yao banged into the exactly same place where I had damaged the car. And I feel that it had attracted because there was already a tear in the car's matrix, in a sense, in her astral field and in her physical field. The cars actually needed some repairing now physically because I didn't clear also the energy. So it attracted and magnetized to it more accident because I hadn't healed it. And once I realized that the car was damaged from Ming Yao and I made the link, I thought, I should have really cleared this up. So what happened was I took the car to a mechanic that my insurance suggested is linked to my insurance. And there at the mechanics, I spent a couple of days sorting out stuff in Thai and working to be understood and making things speed up a little bit for us in getting it repaired. And about a month ago, before all of this happened, my son had been cleaning our car and had unfortunately used the green side of the sponge on the bonnet. So he'd scratched 2 white little patches onto our black car. And so there are these little scratches on the front. And when I saw them, I thought, oh no, he was just trying to help. He's such a good boy. And he went and scratched the car. So I was a bit disappointed that that happened. But I did think, look, we'll get it fixed at some point. It's no big deal. I'm trying to keep the car nice. But, no worry, that's fine. So I asked the mechanic at the insurance, I said, oh, I don't mind paying more if you don't mind, could we get these scratches sorted out? And he looked at the scratches. He says, you should claim this on insurance. And I said, well, not on this claim, but maybe we try to figure it out. But he ended up offering to do it for free, which I was really, really grateful for. He said, look, wait in this nice room here, this air-conditioned room. I'm going to take the car. And 20 minutes later, he came back and he'd had someone at this busy motor place buff out completely all those scratches. So it was quite interesting because now our car is going to have my original damages also scuffed out, like cleaned and polished and everything, because it's exactly where Ming Yao had damaged the car. So it'll all get sorted out. And then on top of that, we were very, very lucky to have the scuffs at the front healed for free. So it's just made me realize 2 things. One, it's really important, as I said, if you've broken a crystal of yours or damaged something of value in your life, just as you would a person, you apologize, you tell them how grateful you are, and you do something in some ways. Of course, it's different with a human when you do that to a car, but that kind of healing, that kind of repair and care, and if something gives you value, you need to show you value it in back. So number 1, if you've damaged something in your life that has value to you or to others, to actually clear it, cleanse it, whatever way you know how. And the second is that when the universe seems to be doing what can feel like a strange dance and kind of helping to heal issues linked, the way Ming Yao's injury to the car has now given us a situation where we're going to include that in kind of all the repairs there. It's in the same area, so it's all just going to get buffed out. Everything's going to get fixed up. Not to be arrogant about that prosperity, about that blessing, because I did find myself noticing, oh, wow, all this is working out. And you start to feel this little energy come up. Maybe it's not arrogance, but just this kind of gloating, or I guess you could, like a spectrum of arrogance. Didn't feel like intensely arrogant, but just a sense that, oh, everything's working out. And we all know that before things have fully been completed and healed, we don't want to, like they said, count your chickens too soon, too early. So there's that aspect with universal law. We have to be careful that we don't just kind of jinx things. But equally, when things are flowing well and there's a stream of prosperity that seems to be flowing and things seem to be they're not being cancelled out, but they're being healed as part of a greater thing, that we don't want to be arrogant. We don't want to be kind of gloating or bloating about that. And that instead, rather, when we see things working out, the better way to go, in my opinion and in my experience, is to be humble, is to be grateful, is to be appreciative. And when we're humble, and I don't mean modest is a fake humility, but humility, there's a certain, when people are humble, they're very magnetic, aren't they? They're very soft, they're very open and honest and vulnerable. There's a vulnerability and there's a beauty that comes through that vulnerability that we see when people are being humble. It's really lovely energy. And when humble is true, when humility is true, we soften and open to the greatness of this universe, to these incredible laws of the universe, I was going to say university, universe, and that we are in gratitude for any helping deity, spirit of divine light that is helping us on our path. And we are in gratitude to that flow. We open to that. We don't gloat. We don't show off. We don't assume that things are all going to go well either. So we're not being negative, but we're also just softening into reality as it's showing us. And I find that really, really helpful. And I just wanted to share the story with you because it's helpful just to know, to protect our belongings. So, if we make a mistake and damage something, quickly to give it the energy it needs to heal it. Put your hand on your car and say, I'm sorry, and I'll get you fixed, or I'm sorry, and clear the energy. Even if you never physically get it fixed, a lot can be done to avoid that happening again, like Ming Ya running into the back of me. And the other thing I wanted to bring up in a way around arrogance and thinking that things are all good is that in this situation for me, Ming Ya could have gone and still can go any way. So he has insurance, but the police weren't involved in Thailand. You can easily get the police involved. And quite often being a foreigner, you can be considered at fault. The kind of logic can go that the accident wouldn't have happened if you weren't here, which, there's some logic to that. So yeah, but it doesn't work in your favor. So in this case, it clearly wasn't my fault, but this man was obviously a decent person so far. And, I don't want to be negative as a person moving through life, but the reality is, the other thing I want to bring up in the video is the reality is each of us and everyone we meet, each of us has a moral compass. And a compass, as you know, the needle's always changing, always moving to its magnetic force towards north. And so everyone's compass is always moving. So I'm always open to the fact that, just say in this case, Ming Ya could change. He may not be so helpful. This could happen. So it's not until it's completely complete and everything's financially been sorted out that I would be saying this situation's completely over. And even then, in reality, there's continuation and it goes off into other karma, but in this case it's not actually over yet. So just be aware that people's compass, their value, their moral compass is continuously changing, and I think as humans we want security and stability and to think that everything's good here, this person's fine. And I think that's why betrayal from someone that we love and trust, when we think we know their moral compass, can be so deep when they betray us. Maybe less so with someone that we don't really know, but individuals can differ in those ways. Some of us are really quick to want to trust, and some of us find it really hard to trust. Or some of us find it hard to trust and then trust really quickly in one personality type or one type of person. But we need to remember that people's moral compasses are changing all the time. Even in long-term, seemingly stable relationships, things are always changing, ebbing and flowing. So we need to be aware and learn to soften and open. And that's a really important skill to have in life, especially when things are tough, like you're having accidents, you're having to follow things up, you need to kind of not be a pushover, be soft and open and flowing with what is, so that you can read and map what is going on and pick up what's happening and notice what you need to do in order to help things along. And I guess the last lesson I learned, and this is for anyone that drives or rides or is part of traffic, just to be really careful out in the traffic. And even though I didn't cause the accident and I wasn't driving recklessly, I know that, sometimes I can be impatient on the road. So it was just a reminder in a way through Ming Ya's accident, just to be really careful on the roads. So I hope that's been an interesting podcast for you this time, just in regards to, moral compasses and the silver linings of these accidents, and how often accidents highlight lots of things to learn around healing and balance and harmony and disharmony and chaos and disruption as well. So I hope this has been helpful. As always, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. There's a free download you can get all about how to help your mind become more of a healer's mind, healer's consciousness. And if you subscribe, you also go to our monthly newsletter, which reminds me I must put that out today or tomorrow. I'll be putting out the monthly newsletter for our subscribers for the newsletter. And as always, please check out our website at www.thesacredgates.com. We have beautiful insight readings, which are really, really insightful, very helpful to practitioners, or if you're having a difficult period or repetitive patterns in your life, or you're struggling with your spirituality or a relationship, or all of the above. Our insight readings are very, very helpful and come with an attunement, or it's not an attunement, it's more of a transmission in the actual insight reading. We also do healings for animals, for children, for individuals. We do monthly healings. We also have a lot of manifestation healings going at this time. Please feel free to check them out. They're very potent, very powerful. We help to align you with your desire, working with your manifestation regularly and updating you on your progress and what you can do to help you to align, as it is a co-creative process with the sacred gates around your desires. But we work with you to support you with your path and bring your path into alignment with your service and spiritual mindset as well, so that whatever it is that you desire, we will help you to achieve that desire, align you with your manifestation for your highest spiritual good. And that is good for everybody on the planet. So thanks for tuning in again, guys. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.